Hey, it's not fun when it's real. So today's Soapbox is kind of based on an incident that happened a couple of days ago that it irked me. How do you like that word? It irked me. I ran into someone who actually works in this building. I actually don't really know who this person is, but they had seen the footage of Mad World. They'd been on the show. And they were asking some questions, and it became clear that they found the game objectionable. Specifically, they said the part where there's a flaming tire put over someone's head. They just found it that somehow I was endorsing the game. Actually, I am. I think it's a pretty cool game. But the point being is that they really couldn't understand why I didn't have an issue with that. Now, the ostensible reason why you have an issue with that image is that is obviously a horrible way to die. And it was something that was practiced, unfortunately, I recall in South Africa during the latter years of apartheid, that people who were considered to be collaborators with the white South African government were given that absolutely horrific punishment. That's not to say that somehow it's wrong to have it in the game and I'm a bad person for having the game on the show. And this always goes back to the role of violence in video games. Violence in video games is there for many reasons, but let's just remind each other, no one gets hurt when they're playing a video game. Video games are providing safe spaces to explore sometimes unpleasant aspects of human nature. And you know what? That tends to manifest itself a lot in terms of violence. I've also always felt that violence in video games, when you play a game that's a shooter, a lot of people think, oh, I'm playing that game because I want to kill people. No, I think it's a different thing. I think it's because you play a shooter because you want that thrill of everyone trying to shoot you. When you think about it, a lot of us, myself included, I work for a very large corporation. You don't feel like we have that much power anymore, that we somehow, our role, our function in society is somehow being sort of lost, like our stock value is somehow plummeting, which is a very, good way of describing it given what's happening in the economy right now. And in those games, in those game spaces, with that thrill of trying to be shot at, you are the most important person in the world. You typically are trying to save the world and everyone wants to stop you from doing it. There are many reasons why in an interactive entertainment we are doing things that obviously most people know you're not supposed to do in real life. That, as far as I can tell, a healthy thing. What I actually find more objectionable is the idea that somehow violence in video games is more horrific or somehow unique, as if violence somehow didn't exist prior to video games. Obviously, it's endemic in society, well predating a video game. More so, it's endemic in society right now. When you think about what's going on in the world, when you see the types of violence that are happening in American cities, when you see what happened in India recently, when you consider the fact that the Vice President of the United States has zero problem with the fact that we tortured prisoners, and the issue is the violence in the video games. Everyone says that we're supposed to have video games that are making us just more used to acts of violence or being horrible to other people. No, I think the thing is we're getting used to the acts of violence that are being committed in the real world. And that is the real objection.